Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman, Saudi Arabia's energy minister, said this week in his first remarks since the kingdom extended the supply cuts until the end of the year that the ongoing additional production cut by Saudi Arabia is not meant to jack up prices but rather to stabilize the oil market and prevent high volatility in times of uncertainty. The minister told the World Petroleum Congress in Calgary, Canada, as reported by the Financial Times, "It's not about jacking up prices, it's about making the decisions that are right when we have the data." Saudi Arabia said at the beginning of the month that it will extend its voluntary production cut of 1 million barrels per day, BPD, through December. The action, which comes in addition to Saudi Arabia's current OPEC plus cutbacks of over 500,000 BPD, strengthens the precautionary measures taken by OPEC plus nations to protect the stability and balance of the oil markets, the kingdom said. The OPEC plus producers' most powerful official, the energy minister, reaffirmed on Monday that the extra cut was necessary for market stability, not to try to raise oil prices by tightening the market. "We want to be cautious and aggressive." Abdulaziz bin Salman was quoted by the Saudi Gazette as saying, "We don't aim prices, we limit volatility." The minister continued, "The jury's still out regarding the numerous unknowns in the oil market, such as China's oil demand, Europe's economy, and the rise in interest rates globally." He added that the current projections of a sizable deficit in the fourth quarter may not come to pass and that he would believe it when he saw it. "I believe it when I see it. That's my mantra, and it's always best to live by it. Hallelujah, we can generate more when reality plays out as predicted," the Saudi official remarked. Oil prices have risen to a 10-month high of $95 per barrel Brent despite Saudi Arabia's protestations that it is not jacking up prices. This is because both market players and influential forecasts anticipate a significant shortfall for the remainder of the year. Although Saudi Arabia denies responsibility for rising oil prices, the kingdom really required higher oil prices than in the second quarter in order to balance its 2023 budget. Saudi Arabia needed oil prices at $80.90 per barrel to balance its budget this year, according to the IMF, who made that claim back in early May. Before the Saudis started the arbitrary 1 million BPD production cut in July, Brent averaged just over $75 a barrel in May and $74.84 in June. According to an earlier estimate by Bloomberg Economics, the kingdom's break-even oil price would rise to $95 per barrel at current oil production levels of about 9 million BPD and the same investment spending. For Saudi Arabia, break-even pricing are looking good thus far. Analysts believe that Brent might rise to $100 per barrel, though they caution that a move in the triple digits is unlikely to be sustained due to the potential for inflation and demand destruction. Brent did reach $95 per barrel earlier this week. The International Energy Agency, IEA, and analysts have warned of a large shortfall for the remainder of the year in response to the Saudi cuts. According to the IEA's closely followed oil market report for September, from September onward, the loss of OPEC plus output, driven by Saudi Arabia, will cause a major supply shortage through the fourth quarter. Abdulaziz bin Salman of Saudi Arabia insists on "I believe it when I see it," and he challenged the IEA for its longer-term demand estimates, predicting the beginning of the end of fossil fuels this decade. The Saudi minister remarked of the IEA, "They have changed from being a forecaster and assessor of the market to one practicing political advocacy." In the meanwhile, economists claim that rising oil prices reflect tight markets brought on by the Saudi reduction. According to Ed Moya, senior market analyst at Awanda, the oil market will likely be tight over the winter, and despite some potential fireworks from the Fed, crude just wants to move up. Energy markets appear to be tolerant of $90 per barrel of oil, which is turning into a surge to test the $100 per barrel level, suggesting some signs of economic resiliency. The total amount of crude oil produced by OPEC's members decreased by 836,000 barrels per day, BPD, in July to 27.31 million BPD. With a 968,000 BPD decrease in Saudi Arabia's output as it almost met its pledged 1 million BPD cut last month. According to secondary sources in OPEC's monthly oil market report, which was released on Thursday, output in Saudi Arabia, Libya, and Nigeria decreased last month compared to June, while increasing production from Iran, Angola, and Iraq partially offset the Saudi decline. However, Libya, Iran, and Venezuela are exempt from the OPEC Plus agreement requiring output cuts from the other 10 OPEC members. According to OPEC's secondary sources in the report, Saudi Arabia, the cartel's and OPEC Plus agreement's dominant nation, saw a decline in its crude oil output of 968,000 BPD from June to an average of 9.021 million BPD in July. Saudi Arabia's voluntary, unilateral production reduction has caused the kingdom's output of crude oil to now fall below that of Russia, OPEC's main ally in the OPEC Plus alliance. The other significant decreases in OPEC's crude oil production last month came from Nigeria and Libya, whose output decreased by 40,000 bpd and 52,000 bpd, respectively. According to OPEC's secondary sources, Iraq, Iran, Angola, and Venezuela increased their respective output. After announcing last week that it will extend its unilateral voluntary cut into October, Saudi Arabia will continue to push down OPEC's production in September and October, as well. In turn, Russia has declared an extension of its export restrictions into October, though the promised reduction will be smaller than in September. Deputy Prime Minister Alexander Novak announced last week that Russia will reduce oil exports by 300,000 bpd in October, after the Saudi announcement of an increase in production. Russia has said that it will cut its oil shipments by 500,000 bpd in September. Market players and analysts anticipate tightening for the remainder of the year as a result of the OPEC Plus reduction. In August, Saudi Arabia's crude oil exports reached their lowest level in 21 months, according to the most recent data from the Joint Organization's data initiative Jodi, which was released on Wednesday. The largest crude oil exporter in the world, the kingdom transported 6.80 million barrels per day, BPD, of petroleum in August, a decrease of 124,000 bpd from May, according to Jodi, a database that gathers self-reported statistics from numerous nations. Saudi Arabia's oil shipments fell below 7 million barrels per day, BPD, in May for the first time this year as the kingdom and a number of other significant OPEC Plus producers started a combined cut of 1.6 million barrels per day in that month. In August, Saudi Arabia's product inventories decreased by 1.64 million barrels, but its crude inventories increased by 1.45 million barrels, according to Jodi statistics released today. According to Jodi data, Saudi Arabia increased its direct usage of crude and direct burn for power by 65,000 bpd to 543,000 bpd in August. According to today's Jodi data, Saudi Arabia's crude oil production fell by 3,000 bpd in August to 9.96 million bpd. The output of Saudi crude was at its lowest point in 19 months at this time. After initiating a unilateral voluntary cut of 1 million bpd in July to support the stability of the oil market, Saudi Arabia's oil output is expected to average about 9 million bpd in July, August, and September. The unilateral cut was originally scheduled to continue through the end of July but was twice extended, once into August and once into September. The International Energy Agency, IEA, reported last week that the oil output from the OPEC Plus group fell by 1.2 million bpd in July to 50.7 million bpd, the lowest level in over 2 years as Saudi Arabia started its production cut of 1 million bpd. Saudi Arabia's reduction in production has caused the kingdom's output of crude oil to now fall below that of Russia, OPEC's main ally in the OPEC Plus alliance. What are your thoughts on Saudi Arabia and OPEC Plus, and do you think they can collapse the US economy? Let me know down below. If you want to continue to learn about business investing and financial education, we have got this video waiting on the screen for you to check out. Don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.